So far we have covered what is a lambda expression and what is a functional interface. Now we are going to see what are the actual functional interfaces got introduced in Java 8. So let's discuss those one by one here. So all the functional interfaces which got introduced in Java 8 are present in java.util.function package, and this whole package is got introduced in Java 8. So it is a completely new package which got introduced in Java 8. So let's move towards the function interface which got introduced. So first one, we will discuss that consumer interface. Then we have a by consumer interface, then by predicate, then a function interface and unary operator, binary operator, predicate, and the supplier interface. So my agenda of this discussion will be these functional interfaces, and we will discuss these functional interface one by one. We will see each of the functional interface and their respective interface method, like the abstract method which they provide and what is the functionality of that method. And we are also going to see the default method which is introduced in these interfaces, and we will cover these interfaces like with the practical examples. So stay with me and let's start the learning. So the first interface which we are going to cover is consumer interface. So let's see the consumer interface. So it is present in java.util.function package. And what is its usage? So let's understand that. So consumer interface, what it will do, you will pass anything. Means think like that, you will pass anything like a string and or any object, then the consumer interface will come into the picture, and consumer interface will take that argument which you will pass, either it is a string or object, and it will consume it, and it will provide a manipulated output as per your requirement. So if anyone asks what is the usage of consumer interface, just you need to tell that it will take any input or argument and which provide a manipulated output as per the requirements. That's the simple usage of the consumer interface. Then we will see the abstract method. What is the abstract method in the consumer interface? As it is a functional interface, so it has one abstract method which is accept. Next, it also has the default method, and the default method name is and then. So we will see these two methods in action with our examples in Eclipse. So let's move to the Eclipse. In Eclipse, I have created one functional interface example class. In this class, I will explain all the examples related with the functional interface. And to support my examples, I have created one employee class. So let me quickly have a look on that. My employee class has the some properties like name, designation, salary, gender, and hobbies. I have provided one constructor and setter and getters for this class. Then I have created one employee database class. So in the employee database class, I have prepared some of the employee data so that we can use this data and we can see all the functional interface in action using this data. So I will upload this project on the GitHub, and you guys can take it from there and use it as per your needs. So let me move to my functional interface example. Here I will show you the consumer example. So let's start. As I told in the PPT that consumer interface is something which takes an argument and consume it and gives the result as per your needs. So for that, what you will need to do, so consumer interface is like a functional interface. So for the functional interface, we need to write lambda expressions. And how I will write that one, let's see it. So I have that consumer interface, and it takes a generic type. So I will pass this string. So the use case here is we will pass one string and it will convert into the uppercase. So for this, I will see C1 equals to, and I will use one lambda. So lambda is like the implementation of the functional interface. So let's see the functional interface. So it has that accept method and it will take one argument. Okay. So for this, we need to provide an implementation. Okay. So for that, we need to write one lambda, and lambda will be like it will take one argument because accept is taking one argument, right? Here accept is taking one argument, so we will need to provide one argument here. In my case, we are providing one string here. So let's say I'm giving a string, let's say name, and then the arrow for the lambda and the body, lambda body. So in the lambda body, what we can do, we need to perform the uppercase operation. Then name dot to uppercase we will call, because it's a string and we can call it, right? And put this, we will put this because consumer will not return anything. As we can see here, the return type is void. So accept will not return anything. That means this lambda will not return anything. So we have to print inside the lambda. So for that, I will put this statement into the system.out.println like this. So this is the lambda expression created for the consumer interface. Now the question is how we will call this lambda expression. So for that we need to call the accept method of this consumer interface. Then calling of that accept method will call this body. So let me show you. So let's say I will call c1 dot accept, okay, and I will pass one string here, and the string is the code craving. Okay, when I will run, what will happen? Let's see. So I have executed and you can see the code craving in the uppercase, right? So think like that. Means consumer interface we have implemented using Lambda, and we have provided the body of this abstract method accept, which is taking one argument. Now, what we are doing with that argument, we are converting that argument to the uppercase. And if we call that accept method with any string, it will automatically gives the uppercase version of that string. So this is the simple usage of consumer. So let's see the practical usage. That suppose my requirement is to get all the employees from the database and print their names. How I will do that? So in our project, I have one dummy class like employee database, which gives the employee data, as I told earlier, right? So let's call this method of employee database dot get all employees. It will return all the employees, and I will assign it into the local variable. Okay, all employees, I will call it all employee list. All right. Next, what I will do, I will use for each loop of Java 8 for each, which will take one consumer. Okay, you can see here that for each will take a consumer as a lambda, which will describe the action of the for each. So let me go through the for each loop. Means for each loop, you can see in the documentation, it is also present from Java 1.8, and it will take one argument which is a consumer lambda here. Okay, so we need to provide this consumer lambda so that it can do the operation. So for this, what I will do, I will take this employee list and I will pass it into the consumer, and in the consumer I will print out their first name. So for this, what I need to do, I need to write a consumer, okay, which will take the employee object. Let's say emp consumer, I will call it like this, and then I will pass one employee object, employee emp, and I will print out, I will print out what? The first name of this, sorry, the name of the employee. Emp dot get name method is there. So this is the lambda which I have created for the consumer, and I will pass this lambda expression here for each. Okay, so let's see what will be the output. Yes, save it. Now you can see guys, means we have created one lambda here for get fetch out the first names, and we have passed into the for each, and here it is the names of all the employees. Okay, so what for each is doing here is for each is taking one object at a time and passing it into the this lambda consumer, and for that consumer we have given that print out their name. So that's why we are getting this result. Hope you guys got clear with the example of this consumer interface. One thing to note here is you guys can remove this type here. So there is no need to provide type while passing the argument to the functional interface methods, because by default the compiler will define the lambda types as per the defined generic here. Okay, so you can remove it, and this is called the type reference, which I discussed in my what is lambda expression video. You guys can see the link above in the icon. So far we have covered the accept method. Let's see the consumer interface, and we have covered the accept abstract method. So let's see the second default method which comes with the consumer interface, which is and then method. So suppose you have like multiple consumer and lambdas, so you can combine it using this and then. So you can use it like a one consumer lambda and then this consumer lambda. What I mean by that is, let's see in the example. Here we wrote one expression like to get their names, employee name. Okay. Now my requirement is to print their name and also their hobbies. So what I will do, I will write another lambda consumer like, so that will be IMP, then this is the one, and I will do this, and here emp dot get hobbies. Okay, and I will store it into the another like this one, emp consumer hop hop. So now I want to execute these two consumer. Okay, so for that, sorry, for that what I will do, I will do emp consumer and and then and then method, and then we'll take another lambda of consumer type. So I will pass it here, and let's see the result. So yeah, save the resource. Okay, so this is the thing, right? Means we are getting first name by this lambda expression, and then we are getting this hobbies by this second lambda expression. By using and then method, you can combine multiple consumer at a time. So this is the usage of and then method. So let's move on to the next one, which is by consumer functional interface.